So I'm back here with the Urtopia carbon fiber e-bike. Now this model I reviewed about 11 months ago, but it was a prototype version, and now of course I've got the final version of it, the retail model here. So this bike, why it is really interesting, because it has a modern design to it with a lot of features packed into it, a lot of tech. So because of the carbon fiber frame it's only 15 kilos, the weight of it, which is very good. It has a Gates carbon drive system. So the Gates belt on this is low maintenance. You don't have to do anything. So there's no chain to worry about. And in fact, there's no gears to worry about either. There's no cassette, derailleur, any of that. And it's supposed to be maintenance free for up to about 30,000 kilometers. So the bike has hydraulic brakes to it. They're 160 millimeter. We've got a removable battery that you can lock into place. It's a 10 amp hour battery, and it's good for up to about 100 kilometers is the maximum range using the eco mode. So Urtopia does claim here with this bike. So the smart features that are built into it, well, it's got GPS, fingerprint reader. We've got lights on there with some projector indicators too, just for added safety, front headlight, and even an application for the Urtopia. Now the bike's finish is a big step up from the early prototype that I did cover that had some imperfections with the frame, with the paint job and finish. None of that now. It is looking really good, so there's no rough marks, no poor areas. The paint finish is this matte grey with some orange accents. And they do have optional extras that you've got to pay a little bit more for to get a stand and mudguards if you did need that. Now I've just got the review unit here that they sent out to me, so it didn't come with that. 116 millimeter disc brakes, hydraulic calipers that do not have any branding on them. So it seems like it's a no brand hydraulic brake system that they've gone with, but it does work well, and I'll be testing it out later on in this video. The frame size I have is an L, and we do have a torque sensor, and it's really good because when you start to give it power, it just responds instantly and very smooth power delivery. Much better than the speed sensor system that can be a little juddery or jerky when you do ride. Doesn't happen at all. The Urtopia uses a Vinca motor. Now this is 250 watts, 36 volt system. The battery is 10 amp hours or 360 watt hours, lockable, locks into place there, so you just clip it in, and using the key you can unlock it, and it's very easy to slot it in and out. Now the charge time is 2.5 hours. You can charge it in the bike or out of it. The Urtopia uses the carbon belt drive system. Now, I've seen a lot of this now. This is a pretty much zero maintenance system. There's no chain to oil, there's no chain that's going to wear out. And these carbon belts are supposed to be good for around 30,000 kilometers. There's some people that claim that they can even do about 100,000 with them with no maintenance. But it also does mean the bike has an obvious weakness, that is no gears, just the single speed, which is going to make it a little bit more difficult for climbs. And factoring in, we only have a 250 watt motor. It's not exactly powerful. And Urtopia has selected the Kenda K West for their tire. Now they are 300C size by 35C, 28-inch rims. Now these are puncture resistant tires with a street tread to them. The bike has a quick release here with the front hub, but it doesn't include one with the rear. It does come with a little bike bag here with some tools in it. All you need to do really is just add then a inner tube and you're ready to go. For lights, we have a rear tail light, which is very bright, and then it does have these indicators. They're actually little projector lights that project onto the ground. Now, it's only really visible at nighttime, and that's really when you're going to need it. But it depends on the angle you look at it, it can be a little bit difficult to see. I do like this concept that we've got the indicators here that do shine onto the ground. However, I also wish that they'd went some powerful daytime indicators, some really powerful LEDs that you could also see, and not just at night. The front handlebar does have a built-in headlight, and it's bright enough you can see the path ahead of you clearly at night time, and even lights up the surrounding area, the front of the bike, which is great for added safety. Where possible, Urtopia has routed these cables internally, which does give it a more cleaner look. The seat post has a bit of sponge to it. It is comfortable, no complaints about that. My complaint is probably the biggest one too of this bike is the seat post, that I cannot lower the seat down any further than where it currently is. And to adjust the position, if you're swapping between riders, you're going to need to use an Allen key. So the screen doesn't shimmer like this, it's just on camera here at the moment. We've got our battery, speed, and the pedal assist level you are in. So there's 4 levels, there's 1, 2, and 3, and then the turbo mode, the maximum, up to 250 watts, 25 kilometers per hour maximum. So we have a power on button that also doubles as a fingerprint reader. So you can use that to lock the bike, and there's even voice commands if you hold it down. For example, I'll turn the lights on. Lights on.
Light on.
And it gives me that feedback, and it has turned the lights on. Now, to use the indicators, we have this little joypad here. So we've got up and down for the pedal assist levels, and then left and right for the indicator. So just turn on the left indicator, makes a ticking noise like a car, and you can see the arrow logo there. But of course on camera, it's not coming out so well. Now this is very bright. You can see it during the day. They've improved the screen definitely from the prototype that I first looked at, and at night time you can see that too. We have lock grips either side, and the brake levers, they do feel good. Now demonstrate the fingerprint reader here. I'll just turn it off. Power off.
See you.
Now that has locked the bike. If I move it, an alarm's going to go off. And so the fingerprint reader then will unlock it too. The fingerprint that I've scanned is just my thumb. That's the easiest when you're riding, of course. So you just need to press in. It's going to scan it. It's a capacitive fingerprint reader. And there we go, it has unlocked the bike. So great to have this added security that it has over-the-air updates too, 4G connectivity and GPS function. So what is this fantastic bike like to ride? Well, it is a super smooth bike. I really like the look of the frame too. Modern looking, carbon fiber, only 15 kilos. Now the annoying thing is that seat post, I can't drop it down anymore. I would have to cut something off there, but there's a cable in it that goes to the light at the back. So it could be a bit complicated to do that. So make sure you get the right size for you. I'm just riding here the L size, so that's the large frame, but there is a medium. Now it's got the torque sensor. As soon as you get on it and you start to pedal, it will give you that power. And the power delivery is very smooth and nice, and you can hear the motor just. It's not a very loud motor. Now riding position is quite upright. The handlebar could be maybe possibly a little higher for me, but there's no way to adjust that handlebar at all. And my knees are nowhere near those handlebars, so with this large frame I've got plenty of room. So very smooth here. I'm just in pedal assist level 1. And it's so nice just cruising along here. Barely any effort. Very easy. The more you give it, the more it will give you back in return with that torque sensor. So the top speed of the bike, the assist top speed, is 25 kilometers per hour. So right now, pedaling as hard as I can on the flat, I can get it up to about 35 kilometers per hour top speed. Climb test now. This is a 25-30 degree gradient here, and it's going up at just fine in pedal assist level 3. However, now it's getting a little steeper. I'm having to put quite a bit more effort in. I'd say it's about a 50-50 mix now of the motor and my own energy. Oh, getting a little more difficult. Probably might have to start standing up to power through this. So very steep climbs, you will definitely get fit, because it's not the best climb of this bike because of the 250 watts and the fixed single speed. So an expensive bike just as this one should have good brakes, right? 30 kilometers per hour from this post. Oh, very good. So great braking performance thanks to the hydraulic disc brakes, 160mm. I have no complaints with them. I can brake when I need to safely, and they got plenty of bite to them. They did require about 15 kilometers of bedding them in, however, these pads. So it's been an absolute blast with the Urtopia here. Very smooth ride. The torque sensor, the power delivery is excellent. It's smooth, it's there when you need it. Just the climbing performance I wish was a little better. But I really feel that that is unfortunately a result of the EU law that you can't exceed 250 watts average for what the motor can pull.
And here's a quick look at the application. So you get your riding stats. You can see your total kilometers there, calories, and then the bike itself. So you've got settings where you can adjust the light, the controls, the power, vibration from the haptics, speaker, and even the sounds. You've got over there updates, unbind it if you are going to be selling the bike perhaps later on. And there are other options too as well. If you go into the users field, you see here that you can see others' rides that they have shared. So that's interesting. And then home, you can see your own stats. So it's listing all of my rides thanks to the built-in GPS. So every time you power it on, it will be recording those rides. You can see my rides at the top, and it just goes on and on, lots of little rides. And the GPS accuracy I do find to be quite good. I don't see it being off at all. It seems to be following the roads where I was riding, so that's great.
Now the range of the bike remains unchanged really from what I was reviewing in the prototype model because it's still got the same battery capacity, 10 amp hours. So you can get at least around 60 kilometers out of it, maybe even up to 80 if you're using the lower pedal assist levels. Now the fingerprint reader is working really well. I couldn't test that out in the version I had because it wasn't a final model, and just the finishing quality of it is a step up from the prototype that I reviewed earlier. We still have the same cons though that I had before, and that was that the motor output, 250 watts with some of the climbs, the fact that we've got no gears can be difficult. If you have steep climbs that you need to go up often, then you will be getting fit riding this particular bike because you still need to put quite a bit of effort in with the lack of gears there and the fact the motor is only 250 watts. Other things about the bike, well, the frame, it looks great. I love how modern it is. The brake performance is excellent. It's very light for an e-bike, 15 kilos. And yes, it is an expensive bike. There's also a couple of areas that I hope that Urtopia can improve upon. I've noticed a couple of times that the battery has popped out on me, just clipped out just a little bit here at the top. I don't know why it's doing that. Maybe it's a little bit of flex in the frame when I've been riding that's caused it to do that, which is annoying. I've had to push it back in, and I'll be worried about the battery coming out. But because of the angle of the frame, the way it sits in there, doesn't look like it's going to happen at all, at least. The seat post is one thing too as well, that the seat post is at its lowest point, which is very high for some reason. They've got quite a bit of a stem to the seat post, and because of the design of it, the seat cannot go any lower either, so that's a bit of a design flaw with the particular bike here. The other is their battery pack's standby is not very good. So if you're not riding the bike, you leave the battery plugged into it, you turn it on and you'll find that it's already dropped down about 30% battery after a week of just sitting there, which is not ideal. I hope with the firmware updates, that's another area that Urtopia can just consider this feedback here and improve upon it, I hope. But I think it's got something to do with that always on GPS that it does have for the anti-theft. You can lock it, the fingerprint reader as mentioned is there, and the application with the GPS, it's probably transmitting that signal all the time, and it's supposed to have built-in 4G as well too with it. So maybe it's part of that is why I'm losing the battery there, because it's connecting up to the cell towers constantly, and it's just one of the characteristics of it. Overall, it's an excellent bike. It is an expensive bike, but it looks to be a quality unit here, and I really do like the improvements I've seen with it, that the build quality especially just so much better than that early prototype. They honestly should have not really have been sending out those first prototype units for us to review, because it doesn't reflect now the final build quality, which is just so much better. So thank you so much for watching my review here of the Urtopia carbon fiber city e-bike.